And here's a side note for myself. I don't have any windshield wipers. This is the windshield wiper. I looked online and I think they mean that little black thing right there is the culprit. But also, I remember before everything went out, I cut on either the AC or the heater. And I'm looking, this one right here is the AC and heater. I see that fuse is blown. So for some reason, it blew. Who knows why? I'm only showing, matter of fact, now that I look at it, if you look, you see, you got, that's the AC, you got the brown one coming out, then you got the other one. Looks like something is missing out of there. So that could be a ground. That could be the ground that's missing because it looks like the end. So that could be the whole problem. Somebody bootlegged the AC. But I gotta look at the schematics and see that we got a brown and white, and then we got a something. It could be black or it could be yellow, but if that's the ground, then we know that's what it goes to. Sorry about the camera work, but that's it right there. Where my thumb is, it's missing. And when you got fuses, you got two sides coming out. This only has one. So while we're here, we're gonna look at the wiper one and see if something's wrong with that one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today is the worst. We're in Georgia. It's a cold, rainy day. I think it's supposed to be like 30 with rain. That's crazy, something like that. 30, 40 with rain. I'd rather do snow than cold rain. Not ice. Ice is cold, freezing rain. That's worse. But anyway, a little troubleshooting. What we found out from our previous video, fixing the brake lights and turn signals. We were wondering why this was dangling, going to nowhere. So we couldn't get our windshield wipers to work. This is the windshield wiper switch, which was next to the light switch, poking through that little hole right to the left of my finger. So what we found out doing research, it's not in the manual how to fix. It just shows how to replace governor, but it doesn't tell you about the ground wire. So that, I know it was grounded, but this part came off, and it looks like somebody, of course, rigged it up. The ground wire came off. They made it longer and grounded it where they wanted to. Where it actually grounds, I have no idea, but we're gonna put it back to where it was. So I wrapped it around there, back to the ground of the wiper switch, heat shrinked it the best way I could, left that intact. That looks good in there. And put one of these on, which I hate putting on because I guess I don't have enough practice, but I put it in there, hit it with a hammer and smash it on there. Everything looks pretty good. It doesn't move. The blue part moves, but the inside is on there flat. So what we're gonna do is put it back together. Let me show you where the ground wire is, where it was hooked, in case in my last video you didn't know. All right, it's raining, so, but if you go under everything and look up, there is, let me get my finger on it, there is a ground wire already there with a bolt. So we're gonna take that off, put this ground wire on there, and screw it back together. I think that's a 1/4 for those of you who don't know. And hopefully what I'm thinking is that's the reason we didn't have windshield wipers. And that means we got brake lights now and windshield wipers. And put it all back together, we are good to go. This is a switch 2. My lights kept going off. Just a side note, my lights kept going off. Just while I'm driving, just go off. And it was that brake. This is the high beam, low beam switch. And if you ever heard of a boo switch, you ever heard of a boo switch? Brake on and off? That should be it right there. All right, let me put it back together and see if we got some windshield wipers, because it is raining today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we put it back on. We tested the switch and it doesn't work. But when we turn it, let's see if we can get that angle. Well, we'll just do it like this. See where the battery is when we turn it on. So there is, that's what happens. So it does move when we turn on the switch. But we do remember that it was intermittent at one time where it would only work at a certain level, and at one point it wouldn't work at all. It would just randomly shut off and randomly cut back on. But that sounds like the governor switch. So this switch seems to be working, because every time I turn it on, it affects the battery. So we're thinking the governor switch. We did have intermittent symptoms, but it is raining, as you can see, and we can't drive like that. So, governor, we're gonna go see how much a governor costs. Cost too much, junkyard it will be.